9:30 from a New England Ville studio. Good morning and welcome to another edition of the program Good Morning Salon for this week, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy 98.1 FM. Today na Thursday, August 13, 2020. We will bring this Thursday edition come to you this morning. My name na Sapti Yukalon.
And Mina Mabel Kaba, good morning. Inside this Thursday edition of the program Good Morning Salon, the United Nations Resident Coordinator na Salon, Sunil Sigal, say UN will continue for support development program them for make peace continue for the country. The chairman for the National Commission for Democracy, Dr. Ubakar Kabo, say the commission don't begin talk to people in a different parts of the country for make them go address the plenty violence them where don't they happen this PNTM. And today na the program, the director of the Financial Intelligence Unit, James N. Bobo, who can talk about plan the way it gets for fight against money laundering and salon.
Well, this plus other story them did for you inside the program. The chairperson for the Teaching Service Commission, Dr. Stanella Beckley, say the commission don't begin to the teaching attendance monitoring system. Now over 40 school them for make government on the number of teacher them within the country. Members say they listen live on www.radiodemocracy.sl. Inside the program, itself they listen live from Radio Shalom, 89.5 Nadugu, Radio Malen, 88.5, and Radio Wanje Napojon District, 101.1, Radio Colinton, 90.0 Nakambia District, Radio Moa, 105.5 Nakailaon District, and Voice of Karine, 98.0 Nakarine District. The program na Good Morning Salon, you can send a message or comment to the number 077-981-981.
The first issue we'll look at in the program this morning are outside the Director General for the Civil Service Management Office, Ansu Samuel Toka, say they don't begin do 2 weeks manpower hearing with government ministry, departments and agency them for make them know almost people go join the civil service inside the year 2021. It talked this way the Human Resource Office meet with senior management from the Office of the President and the Chief Minister in Office. He explained more about this to Musa Kamara.
Well, this actually na hearings, we call them manpower hearings, na the beginning of the annual budget process. Normally, when the financial year start, in January, we don't get a planning process, we know the budget process. We know the Human Resource Management Office for come up with the human resource cost, where they form part of the overall national budget. So we can invite ministries, departments, and agencies and the civil service for come present the manpower plan for next year, and the 2021 financial year. So the Human Resource Management Office, they talk to them, they present their proposals, we discuss them and agree on the staffing level. Then go inform, how much possible go for recruit, how much we go promote. We will also for forecast whether they go for retire. Because when we know that, they will be able to know whose vacancy to fulfill. So the manpower planning process, basically, they develop the manpower plan and budget for able for support the overall budget process.
So now una don't start so now engage ministries, departments and agencies them for know how they plan for recruits and would have for retire from the for ensure so una able take other people them or retire people them.
Kind of, yes, because it's yes, now they inform the plan. Okay. Because government in a budget, the budget process, we get two parts of it. We get the personnel cost and the other charges with the development estimate. We handle the personnel cost. And the personnel cost is very, very important. As you know now, the current government wage bill, it constitutes almost close to half of the domestic revenue we collect. So therefore, that area and area where government very concerned, we want to know also how we will plan so that the rich resources will get to go manage them well.
So like, as we talk to there most ministries, departments and agencies and the RTD?
Well, now we start with 3 ministry offices then. We'll start with the Office of the President, Chief Minister's Office, and then the Cabinet Secretariat. And they will start with first, then be the higher offices. Then.
So this get for continue to other ministries then?
Of course. You get for include all the other ministries and departments then at the civil service. Okay. It lasts for like 2 weeks.
You as head for the civil service, what's in your assessment of the employment issues in our salon when it comes to government departments and agencies?
Well, as you know, in this part of our world, government are the largest single employer. You know, we not get private sector very, very young and fledgling. So we find out that government, everybody look forward to government to provide job. And you know, government get capacity. They're not going to employ everybody. Yet, man, just unlimited that. We just employ all man. Government take for plan, we think the resources we'll get. Now we go for know how they employ. And as you know, also, we don't get what you call a moratorium on recruitment. When the president took over in 2018, it began for introduced to call an executive order number 2. We say, well, for put a freeze on recruitment for the time being. And that only recruitment is very essential. We'll send out to the office of the president and go approve her. Whilst finance don't give concurrence. But yet still, say government recruit. I mean, we don't recruit several, about 4,000 health workers. We don't recruit also professional groups and ministries there, key ministries there. So the recruitment process will continue. And therefore, this planning now going to inform the process in terms of the critical areas we want for employment.
So this is now for 2020 or 2021?
2021 financial year.
2021 financial year. Amos, what are the projection of the employment to 2021?
First of all, we the plan. What the plan? We don't get the vacancies there, the critical, because we look at the critical jobs there. Because you see, just about vacancies there, government there, where the critical jobs there, jobs there where skills are scarce and where they're very, very essential. For example, we need medical officers. We need engineers. You understand, eh? We need confidential secretaries in the civil service, you know. So we also get for build up with middle manpower. The middle manpower is still very, very weak. We strive for beef them up. And so therefore, we consider them vacancies and they're very critical. So you look at the critical vacancies there and try for see how we will budget for filling vacancies in there.
When you talk about filling vacancies, and when I don't begin hearing for 2 weeks hearing for ministries, departments, and agencies, when you look at around the city or other parts of the country, you see plenty young people they work out brown envelope, they drop application at different offices them, and even vacancy they in some places now. For person where they listen away up for get job after this review. What are the chance of them having job now ministries, departments, and agencies then?
Well, chances are there. If you recall, in the last year and this year, we don't do several recruitments there. We don't recruit procurement officers, HR officers, economists, budget officers, administrative officers. We don't recruit several, and that all will happen because we don't plan for the previous years. So definitely, when we plan this year, come next year, the vacancies they will advertise. It will be informed by this process. The process then will tell you vacancies they will don't approve, where we will go for form part of the vacancies they will advertise through the Public Service Commission.
When you come by employment in a salon, the issue of Sababu, say, what are the process and procedures then for making you get job in a government ministries, department, and agency without reach out to somebody they recommend you?
Yeah. Well, as I say, we get processes here. We get the Public Service Commission, where by constitutional provision, now responsible for recruit. But then they delegate grades 6 down to 1 to HRM for recruit. They recruit from 7 to and above. But the PSC, they advertise. Everybody know. They get the Public Service Commission, they get a website, and all their jobs then way they will recruit people for. A lot of people will tell you, young people, if you interview the one they will take part in the process, they will tell you, say they apply, they go interview. In fact, in most cases, an examination set. They may take exams. The one they pass the exams and they go to interview. After the interview, the one they were successful, that they will issue appointment letters. So at least to a large extent, that question of really saying they will not take people there before, it's difficult because the vacancies are so diverse, not to one ministry, different ministries there, and the process very transparent.
This hearing therefore include teachers?
No, it don't include teachers. As I say, we, the Human Resource Management Office, we mandate for the civil service. The teachers, they are being governed now by the Teaching Service Commission. Teaching Service Commission, they don't create by an act of parliament. Now they're responsible for teachers. We own hearings for civil servants who are governed by the Public Service Commission.
Civil servants for somebody to listen.
Civil servants, you have civil servants now, public servants there, we're governed by the Public Service Commission regulations and the Civil Service Code, and they are part of the overall public service. The public service, of course, involves all government employees, people that they pay from the custodial uniform. So civil servants now, sect way kind of then they go through the recruitment process now at the Public Service Commission. They are governed by the civil service regulations, and then a civil servant there. So you find out that civil service, for example, we get a workforce of about 16,000 employees. We're different from the wider public service. Like we talk about the police, talk about the military. These are all public servants, subvented agencies. But the civil service is core.
All right, well, that's not the voice of the Director General at the Civil Service Management Office, Ansu Samuel Toka. Been the talk that interview there with Musa Kamara. Also, they explain but 2 weeks engagement where then they do with ministry, departments, and agency them for know how the civil service go get for Tanlek for the year 2021. The program is still listening to now. Good Morning Salon, where they come to you from the Society for Radio Democracy, 98.1 FM. As we tell you earlier, now the program today at the studio We get the director na the financial intelligence unit, we na David Nbobo, a there this morning for cancel but plan them where he gets for continue for do the work na FIU as if people can remember this BNTM president VOB don't pick the person we been did for be the boss na neck and na in don't take over this position as per the appointment to the president we make and if we don't go through parliament and he did now as the director na the financial intelligence unit. So we bring another the studio this morning for council we how he planned for continue with the work na FIU. Where the financial intelligence unit by an act of parliament of 2012 under the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating and Financing of Terrorism Act 2012, Section 13, give them power for receive and analyze disclosure of financial information where relevant to money laundering and self-offense and where people can commit to the against the law we get to do with money laundering and terrorism financing and self then can give them information here to key institutions them we concern we then can don't collect information them. Well, Mr. Bobo don dey na the financial intelligence unit since inception of the unit in 2006 and now na in na the director as overall boss na the FIU. Good morning again and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Radio Democracy, and happy for the Utuna this morning.
It not look strange na the FIU because, as I stated earlier, you don't did it since the inception of the unit, and now you're not the director, not the financial intelligence unit. So we dey look at on our work na the studio this morning. Congratulations! Now the first time this will get you since they be appointed as director na FIU. Congratulations!
Thank you very much.
All right, so just start for take me through waiting on the happen at the financial intelligence unit, especially so in working towards combating anti-money laundering.
Thank you very much. As you rightly say, I step into the shoe of my predecessor, when I'm now the chairman and chief electoral commissioner, Mr. Mohamed Konewi Kone. And since me be done in the institution from where it start, I also been contribute greatly to some of the vision that we been get for USA A1 take this unit. So basically, I continue the good work where Mr. Kone start, and I also go for bill on them because the intention of for position the FIU for let it get the right visibility and let it get in relevance in this country in terms of processing financial intelligence for aid law enforcement agencies. Also, I go on for share with you some of the things them we the plan for do for able achieve within I don't say so. We be done before Mr. Kennedy left. We be done recruit a good number of staff. We don't enhance with capacity as a unit for able to do the work and try for execute the mandate we provided in the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating the Financing of Terrorism Act 2012, where you refer to. So we use landing as an opportunity for expand our operations beyond Freetown. We don't get the Anti-Corruption Commission. We not get Office of Union, but the Anti-Corruption Commission don't opt for host we in the short term. So we get for deploying it not too distant future of the 4 provincial headquarter towns of Putloko, Makini, Bo, and Kenema. Within that it will mean say the FIU will now begin for reach out na then region and provide the assistance with law enforcement they need in terms of financial intelligence. The other thing we also do quite recently, we don't go through what we call mutual evaluation process. The mutual evaluation process is a process where they assess with level of compliance with the international standard. And one international standard, every FIU or every country they try for comply with now what we call the Financial Action Task Force recommendations. Then 40 recommendations. You get the technical side where you get for do the law, the institutions, and powers of relevant authorities. But again, we get what we call effectiveness. How then laws then how then powers of the relevant institution they use for able to protect the country against money laundering and terrorist financing. So inside assessment, the one thing will come out very clearly that there is a need for we look at legislation again within the same Anti-Money Laundering Act 2012. So as I talk, we don't be in the process, we don't engage the Ministry of Finance and other relevant stakeholders and follow review that law with a view for strengthening them so that it will give you all the necessary legal, remedies for able to do the work proper one. We also be on the verge for enhance with IT capacity because in financial intelligence, you would talk about mass data. We get a whole lot of information, financial data where they come by day, by week, follow, analyze, and make sense out of them. So that require we follow get state-of-the-art ICT system for able aid that work there. So we don't engage, we don't make a lot of improvement on our own, but I mean we also reach out to we partners them for letting assist we so that at least we will be in that state where we will be able generate high quality intelligence we will help the law enforcement agency system. We also try for cement and strengthen cooperation because the fight against money laundering and terrorist financing, not to FIU FET no more. We rely on other players. For example, competent authorities, the one that own a supervisory authority like the Central Bank, like the National Minerals Agency, like SLECOM. We also work as well with the law officers department and as well as other law enforcement agencies. So these are all players.
Okay.
Where we work with. So we want for strengthening and they going forward.
So looking at the issue or involvement of money laundering, the one that we can commit such crime, you can see or not say they always there ahead in terms of device technology. For the workman the way you see on the recruit, like what kind of training the workman here can really go through for really understand the kind of work where they can involve into.
Part of we engagement with the partners them, we will identify like the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, the U.S. Treasury, JABA. JABA are the regional body where they help FIUs them or countries them within West Africa for able comply with this international standard. So part of our engagement with them, we don't do a comprehensive needs assessment in terms of capacity building of the new staff then. So apart from working with the give them internally, we also rely on them partners then for giving specialized training. And then specialized training and they go prepare them for the kind of work we they do on a day-to-day basis.
So I want to remind listeners them when we talk about money laundering and financing terrorism, let you categorize waiting under the FIU they see as crime them will fall under them two things.
Well, money laundering, what money laundering basically mean now when somebody they make clear proceeds or something they get from illegal activity they appear clean. So
That's money
where you get from some activity where the law not approve of. But you want for make it appear as a clean money, So that make the word say money laundering, it come from the activities of some group then we in America in the 1920s. We rented and the prostitution, liquor, drugs, now been thing that we been prohibited under law. So where them prohibit than the one mechanism one way them been devised for continue that in they go create a lot of laundromats, laundry businesses. All right. So what thing them they do, then they do the laundry because then the laundry they collect cash for them. And a few of the businesses then they collect cash. But behind the laundry then they still do the thing that way the law not be approved of. All right. So now we then get the money, then they commingle with the money then they get from the laundry. We're not to be metal money, but they get huge money from the other crimes or then they commit. Then they can take another bank.
So how common?
When bank don't say they operate a business, they're not going to ask too much questions.
How common then crime then they be in a salon as with the top?
Well, everybody knows issues of corruption high. There was time where we talk about drug trafficking. This West Coast, this coastline, they be used them for traffic drugs, internationally. Then we get now human trafficking, migrant smuggling. We're in a new wave of crime. We're not only Salon, but across this region. So, boku way the way people then they make money from illegal activities. And when they make their money, then go try for let and devise means then for let appear like na clean way then get up. Either them set up a front business, For example, somebody go there, he can make like a day in used cars business. I mean, some of you they see, you go see some used cars in park, then Belgium must car in park. You go see them for a very long time. You know, they see any body they buy, but the person is still there in business. So then they set them as a front for let somebody who get money through other dubious means now. They can easily go say, but me na used car business. I not say all used cars, now that they do, but not just an example. Let people not get me wrong. So, but way the way people then they try for camouflage money the way then they get from illegal means for let it appear as clean to the public.
So looking at the financial system or institution, like how owner can operate between the financial institution, that's the bank, for owner able to detect, say, somebody, they try for tap into the system in terms of money laundering. Is it that owner gets this system from on our own side where they detect that?
Well, we get the way we can analyze information we receive. Firstly, we get requirements the way banks they want on board customers them. That onboarding process could mean say then get for Sabi proper one, and then also get for Sabi how you they get your money, and how waiting will be the intention where you get for establish a relationship with them. So over time, then get for the monitor you for CC, you not deviate from that thing the way you been tell them. And again, the money where they bring with it match the kind thing where you they do. Well, if you now work command, for example, you work for Radio Democracy, but you go open account for say this now my salary account. They know they expect you for begin get money from different, so they go ask questions. And when then detect say there is some unusual pattern in the way you they transact business on that account, then they send them to we. So we now get a process where they analyze them. Then since we get access to other sources of information about people, we they try for make sense out of that information and see whether you did to anything we unlawful or illegal.
Right.
Then we develop an intelligence who will shout the police. The essence of intelligence is basically for make the law enforcement then work a little bit less tedious, in the sense that we give them the roadmap. Right. Who side then we able get evidence where if you don't want to prosecute, then we able successfully prosecute that person.
All right, David Bobo, Director on the Financial Intelligence Unit. Continue for the week at the studio. Good morning, Salon. They continue, and we look at more issues. We'll come back to you later.
Well, inside the program now, we look at another issue. Inside the chairperson for the Teaching Service Commission, Dr. Stanela Beckley, say the commission will begin to the teaching service monitoring system now over 40 school them for make government know the number of teacher them within the country. Dr. Stanela Beckley talked this inside one meeting with the all the government local secondary school. Also, they go monitor how the system they work. Also, I say any teacher where they teach in a government school for do electronic registration, we go show say the teacher then can go teach because they not say plenty of the teacher them where government they pay not can go teach. Where you not can get more and go now report.
For make government know the number of teacher them we can teach na government school and self know the number of teacher them where government can pay. Make the Teaching Service Commission. We don't introduce the teacher attendance monitoring system. Where this na the electronic registration where teacher them go do every morning where them go na them different school them. We make the Teaching Service Commission. We don't introduce this for over 40 government school them na the country and self. This being term, then we go monitor the system. Now the government go Kel Senior Secondary School, Stanela Beckley. Now the chairperson for the Teaching Service Commission talk more about this.
43 schools, now 5 districts in the country. So we get very good results and get them fingerprints taken, we register their attendance, the principal insect, and they do one. So insect for the every day for able to do that. We want for no side all the teacher then the way governments they pay. Some teacher then they recruit them for one school, but you find out say then they teach other side or they're not they say. So with this teacher attendance monitoring, your absence for long, we know say you're not in a school, you're not to teach them.
Usa in continue say, from when they start this electronic registration, teacher then can go to school for go register.
Since we start this monitoring, then they come. But then when they will not come, we go look into why they not come and how long they not come for. We get very good results. So any finance say, instead they tell me, it says since we start this pilot in this school, you find out say the teacher then they come over regularly.
Monuro Kawa. Now the consultants for the teacher attendance monitoring system say the over 40 school them where they don't go do this electronic registration. They fair not say plenty by the teacher them where government keep pay salary no can come for teach.
We get some teachers them we chronically they not attend school at all, where they're absent, and then they all get for dinner the report the percentage of them teachers them we not go to school through the pilot we report them. We also get the challenge of say some DDs then and at TSC the district directors and district officers they get limitations of transportation. They not get transportation for the monitor how the reports, the data are captured and how they are sent.
Alicious Kamara, now the acting principal for the government Coquel Senior Secondary School, talk about what this registration mean for the school.
This is an effective way of monitoring our teachers, especially in terms of attendance and honoring their classes. Normally, when we go to meetings, especially CPSS meetings, most of our concerns coming from other colleagues is the introduction of these salary payments through the banking system. Some teachers, they abandon their schools, they only go and collect salaries from their banks. And most times, we don't have a firm grip over them.
I've been talked to some teacher them where we don't go through this electronic registration system, been get this for say.
Bauru Kendrick Mansari, I so appreciate the system. That will help us in such a way that teachers will know the time they have to come in and the time they go out. I hope that this thing will continue in such a way that we are in not only for the starting, but let be implemented to all schools.
Peter Kanu, Government Senior Secondary School. Yeah, I'm okay with this system. I'm really impressed because it shows transparency and accountability. On the whole, I'm really impressed.
Then teacher end up tell thank you to the Teaching Service Commission for this new system and hope say with this new system where the teaching service they introduce now different school them, they hope say then go begin get the salary them quick one for Radio Democracy, Kabia the reports.
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue. Don't forget 077981981 at the number we go send a message to. And now the voice to Tine where we talk about now the program. We want for say plenty thank you to we partner radio stations, them na different partner the country where they link Radio Democracy for make people get information. Now they side them outside themselves they reach. Plenty thank you to the management and staff them na Radio Shalom 89.5 na Koinadugu, Radio Malen 88.5. Radio 1G na Pujon District 101.1, Radio Colenten 90.0 na Cambia, Radio Moa 105.5 na Kailaon District, and Voice of Karine 98.0 na Karine District. Plenty thank you to una all una continue for link Radio Democracy for make people na different parts of the country go to get information on them where Radio Democracy the broadcast. We dey continue with the program. We still get the director of the Financial Intelligence Unit na the studio, winner David Bobo. Earlier this morning they tell me about plan them when himself get for continue with the work of the FIU as na the person where they head the unit currently. In case you get any question for not forget an AfriCell number 077-981-981 at the number we go send a message to. Or gonna be Radio Democracy Facebook page and SF we dey live on YouTube. We will continue with the program, but first, let me just quickly take short commercial break.
Salon Commercial Bank don't come with new banking products them for make life easy. With Million Online Bank and Million Mobile App, you can able for use Salon Link money transfer for send money to anybody elect you not get bank account. Transfer or receive money na the same bank or any other bank. Transfer money to person or office elect you not get the account number. Buy Edsalight, pay other bill them, and now get advanced salary. You don't need for worry again, but almost money then you earn. Because you can able for pay for things the way you buy in a supermarket and other shop them with the quick response code payment. Yagbadon done for we boss man them. With Beyond Online Direct, you can upload salary, pay all you supplier them, sell forex to Salon Commercial Bank, and watch your account anytime. If you need the app, download them from Google Play Store or any Apple Store, or go to Salon Commercial Bank website www.slcb.com. Sierra Leone Commercial Bank, delivering value.
Sierra Leone Commercial Bank.
Way for help people the way they do small thing for survive, and then one the way they run place like cinema all for manage their life during COVID-19.
The Anti-Corruption Commission Get what say? People they go around a Kambulto area. Now Watalo, they take money na people in hand, especially women them. For register, they forget about 1.5 to 2 million loans.
The Anti-Corruption Commission will make all man know say the money where World Bank and government of Salone they give for help people and then Temia now 1,309,000 loans.
If anybody ask you for money, for register you, or if you been don't give money to anybody back, call ACC na 515 or report na the police station where they near you.
Make sure say you not give penny to anybody for register you for get money where World Bank and government of Salone give for help people them during this COVID-19 sick. This message come out from the Anti-Corruption Commission with support from World Bank.
Corruption.
The program Good Morning Salon they continue, and now we come over to our studio guest. We are the director of the Financial Intelligence Unit. We are David Bobo. We don't talk about in plan the way it get us way for improve their work. Now, Mr. Bobo, let's look at cash access. We are not able to say this kind of deposit of value in any financial system linked to money laundering. I mean, of which value of cash access we are not able to detect say with this kind of deposit to this person make. I mean, it relates on link to money laundering.
Well, I mean, you talk about certain things that we, the banks, don't put in place or able understand the person when they can open accounts with them. What we call customer due diligence. That then get for know you, the kind work we they do or the kind business we they do. So all the information they will help them for know how you go for the operate the account state. Which could be the normal or the usual kind amounts they would expect into the account. So if you they behave in a way contrary to that profile they wouldn't get about you, then they report. So we not get a specific threshold. Say for example, if somebody deposits an amount beyond this, then you get for report. No, now your knowledge of the customer, because I make with the insist before ever you open account for a customer, you get for sabi that person there. And the way we sabi him, now for know him by name, then you know the kind way they get him money, we want for operate the account with either a workman or a businessman. Then you go down roughly estimate the kind amount we expect in that account within a particular period. So if you do anything unusual, like for example, somebody now might get 5 million per month, but all of a sudden you begin to see, then they say 100 million on that account or this, it could put your mind on the
But most people we can involve into money laundering, not to people away poor, they can do into other deals, for example, drugs, business. You think say the bank will able to detect all that? Because poor man are obviously involved into the kind of so.
Certainly. I mean, even like you get money, you will get what you normally then go expect from you. For example, if you now merchandise, you did sell, now you get shop now Bacha Street, you get a pattern where they could not know you for. Say, for example, on a daily basis, then at 10 million you go deposit into your account. But all of a sudden, they begin to see huge amounts, huge inflow they come into the account. Then go ask questions. And a day, we expect the financial institutions for report on usual transaction. When you report to FIE about usual transaction, not mean say the person not commit crime. Probably it don't go into other branch of business in order to inform the bank.
So inside the past 2 years, the country year, how many convictions them when I don't get relating to money laundering and financial terrorism?
Well, we don't get 2 convictions so far. That number is low for a number of reasons, because we've not been there in the habit, the law enforcement agencies not been there in the habit for look at money laundering as a separate offense from the predicate offense. Because what will happen for us, if you not possible a thief or you embezzle government money, then go charge you for that anymore. They're not going to look at the money laundering aspect.
So now it's not been the case and we involved in their conviction and they wanna get so. Now it's not be the matter.
Well, mostly not fraud. The 2 cases that we talk not fraud.
There was a time where a particular journalist been get issues with the chief minister, where been raised concern to the public and the Financial Intelligence Unit. Now say where people been one for a year reform, waiting to be the outcome of that matter day, because according to the journalist, they been quote say they been send message to the chief minister for clarify about issues where he gets information say he go get a deposit at a particular bank of huge amounts of money. Waiting FI been find out on that issue.
Well, I don't really want to speak on that issue because
Why?
that matter, because I mean we find out say waiting the journalist been put out not being correct, so we'll not being bothered
So there
with it.
was no deposit at all at that time?
Well, the facts as we the journalists being put out not being correct, it not be match the information we get. So we'll not be bothered with it for going to any press statement because remember we are intelligence agencies and we value the confidentiality of certain information.
But deposit been happen.
Well-
Una do an investigation.
Well, no, I don't think there was any deposit.
On a probe into the issue, on a look into the issue.
No, we look at the issue because we also take open source information. If, for example, we see something in newspaper, we become curious and we look at the factual nature of that information. They okay, look at the who side they allege the money. We will call on the institution for good information.
So I been do all of that.
Yeah.
And I don't notice say the chief minister be make a deposit at that time.
No, we not get that facts as they may reflect them in the newspaper. We not get that fact at all.
Okay, now look at the earlier talk say on the detect money laundering to the financial system that the bank them. But again, we look at them banking they work on business, they want the interest and they want grow in terms of the financial capacity. You think say now all deposits of high value, we wanna go assess say this relate to money laundering, the bank go they tell now?
No, what would they expect the banks them for do? If they see SAPSU, they transact or they deposit money or withdraw money, in a way unusual. Because even the withdraw patterns or the way you spend the money, it will make the bank.
What if the person they in a very needful or stressful situation we make it draw money that kind of way?
When that make us see anything way unusual in the way when I don't know this person say and this they do. And it begin behave way outside of that profile. Their own responsibility now for just report to we. And when they report to we do additional work on them and analyze them. Then we will reach a conclusion whether indeed that kind of information, the merit for law send and to law enforcement for let them investigate. We can get a lot of false positives way then they send to we. Then go down send information say this happen for being unusual, but later we will learn to really, they not look like a money laundering report in there.
So if I told the bank no report or no get system where they detect any money laundering
we also get
activity.
system because we also get other reports than we the banks then can send to we who call threshold report. Anybody who transact above 30 million, that's who then they report to we on a weekly basis. Then they will get on our system. Then for corporate entities, anything above 100 million will get under the system. So normally we can even use then data than the, and look at some trend and pattern relating to specific people then we can able to trigger and say this we need for investigator. We they do that
We don't talk a lot about issues we get to do with money laundering, and on our responsibility not limited to that. And also they pay attention to terrorist financing. Start for tell me first the thing them one they refer to as terrorist financing.
Well, now they want the way they provide support to terrorists or terrorist organization for any purpose. Now that is the standard definition. We know say a group send the way the world knows it then for just create a problem at the world, kill people, then get some their own ideology. We then feel say they want build an empire on their own. So then people then they like within close to we region we get Boko Haram, everybody there about Al Qaeda. So they want and the law or resolutions the way the UN be don't pass it, nobody not for do financial transaction with them. So anybody where they try for provide support to them, whether na genuine money they use or na money where na illegal money they use, you don't commit a crime. So terrorist financing basically where they provide support to terrorist organization for any purpose. And not necessarily say them for use that particular money for commit a terrorist act. Even providing accommodation and support to terrorist organization. Because for let terrorists able to do what they do, they need travel, they need site for sleep, they engage in propaganda. Anything we do, you aid for the movement, you aid for let them for sustain them, you give them money for do them propaganda or for buy things that they use for prepare them the explosives them. you don't commit a crime.
So that brings me to the speech where the president they make at some time where refer to people, certain people say we get terrorist groups them na salon people and the way they do thing them according to Ram amounts to terrorism. The FIU, how una been take that statement from the president talking about terrorist group them within a salon and una day for combat such thing them?
Well, then they within the context. The president talked down within the context of within the Apuna Salon. But when we talk about, we are guided by international standard in terms of Wudana terrorists.
And financing.
And
so
financing.
If the president say the group, then it means then they get finance from source.
No, the FIU, we are guided by international standard. And the international standard, you get the global standard setting body, the financial action task force we have been talking about. Their standard is very clear as to who that then refer to as a terrorist. All right. So if person provide support to them grouping, for example, UN don't list a number of individuals and entities as people the way they provide support to terrorism.
So I'm not being worried with that statement there at all.
No, well, strictly fall within the definition of international, the international definition. So we not take on the same level as the one who they use for where we want for describe terrorist financing.
Looking at terrorist activity, most of them can use a legitimate source of coming in. For example, they can't say with the help this country because they into this kind of crisis, or the one that we can sponsor them. Now people are already in high places. In the general eye, people can take and say this somebody they do charity or get charity organization where they do to them people here. How not able to detect anything different from a genuine help to that of a terrorist supporting or financing terrorist?
Well, we get a number of typology studies that they don't do. Where they see the activities of most non-profit organizations. Now then they actually provide financing stream to some of the terrorist organizations them where they talk about. So one thing we can tell the financial institutions where they provide service for them in terms of moving financial resources. Now for always regarding category of people then they as high-risk customers. And when you be high-risk customer, we get what we call enhanced due diligence we the conduct. Not to the ordinary due diligence like what I go ask you for your ID, they go beyond and one of the things that we do different from a standard due diligence now for able understand in source of wealth, in source of funds, then you get for prover who's are getting money. So through that you go able to know if it's in a out organization, you want for know who's are get, who are they send this money from. You also get for profile, you get the responsibility for know them people then whose country then they would another, So the banks then can get that responsibility for ensure they also know the source of their money here. So once they get all the information they need, they can now able to determine whether then people then go likely engage in their activities and for financial.
So now at any point don't fair not say any group of people or individual where they actually finance terrorist group them.
In this country, not at the moment. We'll not get that case it. We will prove positively for investigation say this person they provide finance to a particular terrorist group. We'll not get that case date.
Is it that the case not or not get a system for able no or
we get a system. I tell you, with the analyzed mass data, we get a lot of information we get on a daily basis from the financial institution, and we analyze them one and day. On all them processes, I don't tell you so. We can also go on site for look at what in the banks or the financial institutions and they do. We can partake in on-site examination. Right. For go see, for example, this customer you get, give me the list of your customers then. How you be able to onboard them customers there? We look at all of them facts and see whether you been do the right thing. Right. So not that we not get what you take for we do them, but the fact remains we not get an case then date.
All right, David Bobo, Director of the Financial Intelligence Unit. Continue for the week at the program Good Morning Salon. In case you get any question for us, send them to our cell number 077981981 or go to Radio Democracy 98.1 Facebook page and safe na YouTube as we stream live. We continue with the program and they go for short commercial break.
Better don't come, better don't come. Now Union Trust Bank again. Union Salon Banco. Union Trust Bank get plenty product and service there for you. You must get what you want to go better. Like we savings account, ide. Current account, ide. Fixed deposit account, ide. Credit facility, ide. All for you. Me and you. Me and you. Union Trust Bank, that's a loan for me and you. Kids future savings account, ide. School fee savings account, ide. Pay advance salary scheme there. We branch and they all love but not alone. Boko no kenema, we dey. Kabala mabogo kakambia, we dey. Jala Freetown Lone Star, we dey. And my 91, me and you. Union Trust Bank, me and you. Union Trust Bank, Union Trust Bank, na salona for me and you. Union Salon Banco. Union Trust Bank.
Union Trust Bank, empowering Sierra Leonean businesses.
Patiently she's walking down the road. What are they running?
Honey, what you go do now for this pikin so? Usa go care and go. Because Mr. Musa don't police speaking for week pata.
Just no worry about that. Now that make the Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs don't set up the one-stop center. This center na side where you go, where they don't rape you, where you go get all the service them, where you forget. And if you're not able to reach there, you can call na 116 line from any mobile network where you get.
Mina Honorable Mantita Awali, Mina the Minister for Gender and Children's Affairs. The Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs, now get a mandate for tap read. Now for that reason they make, we don't put the 116 hotline. That line they open 24 hours and it's free from all mobile network. Anybody experience rape or any sexual violence, call 116 immediately.
So now wait, as they rape you or they rape you pikin, take a 110 at the one-stop center. We get office then at Putloko, Koinadugu, Kailaung, Pujeung, Moyamba, and Western area.
Now the Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs bring this message to you.
The program Good Morning Salon continue. Anyway, we bring this edition come to you this morning. My name is Nasapti Yukalon.
And Mabel Kaba.
We continue to look at more issues inside the program, and now we look at one of the headlines to read them. Also, the United Nations Resident Coordinator na Salon, Sunil Sagal, say United Nations glided with the approach the government use for fighting coronavirus. This make it say the number of positive cases don't they go down. A talk this week ago work to President Biona status for go tell him goodbye because in term as the United Nations Resident Coordinator na Salon Dondon. Wani Gauja gets more and gonna report.
After about 35 years of service na the United Nations and over 4 years na Salon, Usai Wampa in work na for coordinate UN activity and help Salon pan development program them. And safety help anytime disaster or sick boss na the country. And from that same day, where it don't work na Salon, Sunil Sagai don't create impact between the relationship between Salon and United Nations. But as people can say, time they reach for retire, and at the time this, we don't reach for Sunil Sagai for tap in service na the United Nations. And except for Salon, where this make, it be decide for go tell goodbye to the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio. Usa is say, even though it don't tap for work, the UN is say, go still continue for support government development program them.
We are very eager to see Sierra Leone return to the path to development on which it was already so well embarked, not least before the Ebola crisis struck some years ago, but will hopefully also support the government in reviewing, for example, the medium-term national plan to see what kind of adjustments may be necessary, maybe not in the direction of the plan as such, but perhaps in certain indicators or specific measures So that should come very soon to government. And this is, in a sense, an opportunity, as we see it, to focus on some of the areas which will, of course, immediately help shore up the economy in the context of COVID-19 specifically, but which I think recognized by the government also as required as part of the medium-term national plan, almost in any case. Food security obviously being a very important, very urgent issue to address, local food production, but also issues related to private sector development, to fiscal measures, etc., which are already part of the medium-term plan. It may be just now an issue of accelerating or shifting some emphasis. So hopefully, with what we are coming with, that will help the government.
As the United Nations, one of their mandates na for make peace dey na country dem. Sunil Sagail be ask government for always maintain peace and unity among the people dem na the country. As he say, na peace they bring development.
All parts of society, it continues to be a clear message to everyone that this is a time for unity in the country, and we encourage the continued leadership of your excellency, of your government, to engage with all parts of society to mobilize them behind the response. There will always be political differences, but it is also important to focus on what is important and what is essential. We, of course, always continue to promote the wider dialogue, and as we have done before, working also with the Honourable Vice President, we are stand ready to facilitate dialogue whenever we are called upon.
And one thing where Sunil Sagail say he appreciates the country for, na the approach where he say the country they use for fight the coronavirus as compared to other countries them. Inside in own talk, the President, Dr. Julius Maada Bio, tell thank you to the United Nations and talk about the key developments them where the United Nations don't get to Salone.
I remember the many times we had to meet, before the election, after the election, and the many things we have done. It is not easy to make a nation, and you have played your part, and we are trying to do our part too. History will remember you for having been a part of this. We want to just say thank you for having been there for us, even with COVID, as recent as COVID. The treatment center at 34, which by support of the UN, we have one now at 34. These are difficult times, and because of the limited infrastructure, we struggle with that quite a lot. Even with the national development, the medium-term national development plan, you had already pledged your support for it, and we are working so hard to keep it on track amidst the COVID pandemic. We know that commitment, when the UN makes a commitment, it will always follow up on that.
Dr. Julius Maada Bio end up say, it will continue for work with the United Nations for push the country go before. For Radio Democracy, me, Nawani Gauja.
The program is still listening to na Good Morning Salon, and you still get the director for FIU in the studio this morning, where na David Boboy they had to tell we about in work and how he plan for push the financial intelligence unit. You don't talk a lot about thing they want to refer to as anti-money laundering, financial terrorism, and people they financing groups. And now let's look at running as such a unit na Salon, and if you don't earlier confirm say money laundering they happen na Salon, na crimes them will even don't catch people them at the end of the day they don't get convicted. Now let's look at the challenges. What are the outstanding challenges them for FET then to Tinia na Salon, especially the money laundering way they happen?
The obvious challenge we get in terms of addressing the issue of money laundering, now the very structure of the economy. If, as we all know, most people they do things them cash, people do not believe in doing business through the regulated financial system. You find out a lot of things could go on way not documented, way not due to the knowledge of relevant authorities. Them relevant authorities, I mean, for example, like the central banks, who they supervise the banks, them, and we documentary trade not anything where they happen. It's difficult for like peace. If something go wrong for like peace, then facts them together. And we job we do rely on information, credible information. We analyze for that we build some sense out of which in they happen or which be done they happen. So now one obvious challenge than the way the system get. The fact that with system, the structure of the economy is largely cash based, and then it make we work a bit more difficult. A lot of things then will happen. We will not go see records. We will not go see trace of records. Also, we find out say even the financial sector, we get a lot of informality. Because they say, I mean, in this part of the world, the people are wired for it, let them be just informal. And the reason is they say, well, informality is convenient, it's less costly, you know. Could see a lot of people the way they do financial service business, we not even want to take license, or we not want for come under regulation, you know. So now some of the challenges that they will get. We still, as I've been saying, we still look at improving on the ICT environment. Since we own job now for look at mass data, we still need for build that state. Yeah, we still need for build that system there so that we'll be able quickly able manage large data, we'll be able to analyze and try to get something out of them. But again, the other thing we get challenged, international cooperation also is a challenge, you know, and where we think about forget around that challenge, because we get the group we call Egmont Group of FIU. Then that group of FIU, they establish them for letting the exchange information and also engage in international cooperation. We did under a mandatory for them, people then share information with you and they self-share information. But with membership, drive don't begin, and that there are 3 core requirements basically for let you join them. You for don't, your FIU if we get if meet the definition of that Egmont group, and the definition basically is that you for be a central authority established by law for let you receive disclosures of the financial information, analyze and disseminate the information in the.
So then challenges the more you mentioned, is it that this don't give more room for let the illegal activity of money laundering continue? Because you highlight things and we make on another able to reach out as expected.
No, well, of course, if you get obvious challenge, it's something that you need for address. And you get for find a way around that. Otherwise, you'll not go effectively able to combat the problem. Then in this case, we talk about money laundering and terrorist financing. So them things there, nothing they would work on. You know, the issue of even the structure of the economy. The central bank, we don't form a financial inclusion. If we don't develop a financial inclusion strategy, which is the part of Dandy, which they provide contribution to ensure, say, we bring more people within the formal financial system. With Dandy, it will easy for monitor within they happen, you know, in terms of financial transaction at the country.
In as much as the monitor, I also need support from the public, because when I deal with intelligence, when I get from different angles.
Yeah.
Under your own leadership, now what strategies them you want for use for reach out to the public for ensure say when I not only get intelligence but one way go lead to conviction. Let people not just use them for clamp on people with not the wrong people.
Yeah, we value very much the role of the public, because then they all over the country. We now get footprints in every corner of this country. So things then would go on outside the whole, they would especially the public if we able to educate them very well as to we mandate, then we able also contribute their own fair share. But in terms of waiting on my own strategy going forward, now we get for can deploy now the provinces. We not be able to happen late. You know, we very present in that region, and we ensure say we reach out to the people and educate them about what would they do, and then we can ask them for support in terms of information. Then we get for engage in outreach. Through radios, television, and even community meetings, for let we try for explain to people then how bad this problem is and how it affects an economy. By so doing, we'll be able to solicit their own support to the process.
Right.
We also they try for strengthening, because we don't develop a consortium of civil society within the support the work of money laundering. In fact, recently we had a meet with them, zona heads of them, dollar boys them. We be invite them for them to be part of the discussion. so that we all go find some kind of solution like this problem we'll get now with fake dollar. You know, with them apprehending apprehend people that we been get fake dollar them. You know, so we try for engage the operators them, then as well as civil society, how them we able help one for educate with people them, so
Right.
that this not going to be a problem we will affect the economy.
All right, continue further with Twin at the studio, David Bobo, director NIFI. We will come back to you. We'll go for a short commercial break on the program.
They causing confusion.
But this confused me, boo. Look where Uncle Nat in Wall Solid. Look in block the way them beat for them, where they save solid, and at the same amount of cement and sand that they use for beat me on. But look what in the happen. Me wall down for them, all the block they all don't scatter. It like say some kind magic they behind this. You want to know the magic behind this? Now the superior quality, extra strong, extra life and extra yield cement we are the use, and that's not Dangote 3X Portland limestone cement. Dangote cement na the highest grade cement in the country. When a 42.5 R grade cement, when no one day come na this country, and a one of the highest grade pan cement where you go get na the wall. Where you want you concrete, wall and block solid, use Dangote 42.5 R cement, you no go regret them. You go get Dangote 42.5 R cement na online shop and building material store na the one whole country.
Rokel Commercial Bank don't make a de waka with me bank na me phone. Rokel Commercial Bank go make you de waka with you bank na you phone. Them been come with SIM Corpo and now them don't increase the facility. For sure say na them na the Alagba pan banking business na now them don't come with SIM Corpo Plus. Them don't come with SIM Corpo Plus. This service go allow you for send money to person where they salon anytime you want. It no matter the mobile company where you there. As you send me go get some quick one. What's na inside salon you there? You money go reach you. It no matter if you there na the east, west, north, south. So secure then you go na Google Play Store and search for the app SIM Corpo Plus and say download them. Follow the instructions and register your device. The process no long no even reach 2 minutes. When you done the bank go send message na your phone. For confirm say na your phone number bang bang. Enjoy eCorpo and more facilities. SIM Corpo Plus e come for we all. You dey na city or village just na salon you dey. You eCorpo go reach you dey. Heads top up self now they under the facility. With eCorpo you can cash out your money from any local commercial bank agent or branch all around the country.
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue. They look at other issues of the program. Osai, the chairman for the National Commission for Democracy, Dr. Abubakar Kabo, say the commission don't begin talk with people in a different parts of the country for Fenway for address the plenty violence them where been on the happen this PNTM. Well, Dr. Kabo talk this into one meeting where the commission all with civil society organization them, paramount chief, religious leader, musician, and other people them on the theme enhancing civic culture in Sierra Leone. They continue say then decide for hold this meeting for put some message them where then go tell the public as way for preach but peace and national cohesion. You know Kabia gets more and go reports.
This PNTM, plenty violence don dey happen at the country. Outside plenty people don lost their life and property them, and plenty for them people we don dey mix per violent business na the country, na young people them. Because of the kind message wey dem can get. As way for solve them problem make the National Commission for Democracy don hold one day workshop for politicians, musicians, civil society organization, and other people them for build different civic message them on the theme enhancing civic culture in Sierra Leone. Dr. Abubakar Kabo, now the chairman for the National Commission for Democracy, explain more about this.
Well, we call them for let them can contribute. They own we they make 3 messages them. So we want let them can contribute their own ideas them, and then messages how we border around national unity and cohesion, lawlessness, respect for the rule of law, and conflict prevention. All them where we dey make 3 jingles them, but we no go just sit down so now we all make them without we not get the contribution of other people. So after that we bring them all come for lead and come contribute. After which we go validate them next week. Then we pull them as jingles. We will help the country in terms of national consciousness. Well, we see not only we commissioners them from the provincial areas, we see of course the Minister of Political Affairs. They've been there. We see tribal heads, we see the artists them, they're all in here for can help we. Well, these are just some of the messages them. We don't pull a lot of messages them. But they were the key, particularly for this period. We want to try for we ensure and promote national cohesion in the country.
Dr. Kaboke Yon say, because plenty people don't they mix politics for national issues. Now that is say, don't be one big problem. We don't they make violence, don't they happen at the country.
When you politicize something, when you put politics inside any national issue, you deploy them. Sierra Leone needs national unity and cohesion. Where na go help we as a country for progress. So do you problem? Let we own ourselves, let we support ourselves, and let we promote national unity and cohesion. Yes, people in the mixed politics panel. Because something they went off a flare up, but because of politics, when people they see in their own way, they're not sharing the national way, they bring feds come. Because we all know they subscribe to one thing. So if you bring and come that way, me bring me own come the other way, then affect the conflict. So we will not want that. We want for we see things nationally as Sierra Leoneans, so that we go develop and we go stop all them sort of problems they get. They want try for we see for educated people for let and left for be lawless. Then want the respect for the rule of law day. And we want try for prevent, conflict, because you say for the past months them a boku violence and they don't happen. So we try for see how come we can reduce them conflict and day by educating the people, because we feel say if you educate the person, you understand what they happen, they not go behave so much, in this way they behave. So for that way they try for educate the people then.
Inside Ion talk, the Minister of Public and Political Affairs, Ambassador Fodeyum Kela, say all man gets role for play for CC violence tap for the happen na the country.
If we are the ones that will really instigate the young to commit some of these crimes or some of these lawlessness, then we don't just have the young to blame. I think we have ourselves. That's what I say. As a people, we have to blame ourselves to see how we can come up with messages that can really respond to some of these issues. The underpinning logic is well-informed person through well-designed civic messages will increase citizens' civic consciousness and democratic decision-making power. Therefore, developing civic messages out of the 3 things that will be translated into jingles is timely. This will serve as a very powerful vehicle for awareness raising, targeting young and our people across the country. This will also include engaging in efforts to instill in habits, knowledge, skills, and values that in turn will serve to entrench a democratic good governance ideal in every citizen.
Now the country for Radio Democracy, Kabia the report.
The program Good Morning Salon, they continue, and inside the program we continue to follow at more issues. As part of Center for Coordination of Youth Activities program for member the International Youth Day, this make the All Youth Advocacy Consultative Conference on the review of the National Youth Policy. Also, the chairman for the National Council for Civic Education, Kalilu Tutange, say for make people and take the review of the National Youth Policy serious, they need for be part of the process. We go make them get knowledge but the governance process better one. Theodore Arena gets more in Gona report.
August 3rd, 1999, the United Nations been put this day aside for make the yeri young people and voice on them where they affect them. We make every year August 3rd, young people then remember this day as the International Youth Day. For sake of this, make Center for the Coordination of Youth Activities, CCYA, meet with different young people then for member this day inside one Youth Advocacy Consultative Conference with the theme Youth Engagement for Global Action. Abigail Stevens, now the Executive Director for CCYA,